This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Hey guys, Paul here today with another contest prep updates. I'm 12 weeks out. It's hard to believe that I've already banged out 4 weeks of the contest prep. It's been pretty easy so far. I don't want to jinx myself. I always say that shit and then about 6 weeks out, I feel like I'm going to fucking die. But anyway, we'll dig into it today. Before we do so, please take the time to subscribe to my channel. It's the best way you can show your appreciation for all the awesome content I'm putting out there for fucking free. I should be charging for this stuff. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you want to get in contact with me about coaching or a consultation call, you can do so by emailing me at bigp3rd@gmail.com or shooting me a DM on Instagram at Paul K. Barnett. My contact information is in the video description below. If you have questions, comments, you want to tell me I look terrible, how awful I am, you can do so in the comment section below. I will do my best to respond to each and every one of you. I will get grumpier as contest prep goes, so you'll see my responses will probably be a bit snappier as we get deeper into the contest prep, especially when the trend kicks in. All right, so this week, where are we at? I had a really, it usually takes me a few weeks for my metabolism to start spinning up for the weight loss. And I have this problem where I was talking with Justin, my coach, about it this week, but I have this problem where my metabolism starts to get rolling and it just won't stop. I know, I guess it's a good problem. I don't know, but he said it's like trying to land a airplane on an aircraft carrier. You know, you got a short amount of runway and you got to time it just right. And last year we did not time it right. And I looked like a cancer patient on stage because my metabolism just ran away and I just started melting muscle off at the end. I lost like 20 pounds in the last couple weeks of my contest prep. It was crazy. It was mostly muscle. But my metabolism's starting to pick up steam now. I dropped 3.5 pounds this week, and I'm really not doing any cardio right now. I'm just doing 20 minutes of cardio 4 times a week, and we just added in some over-the-counter fat burners this week. Nothing crazy. So this week was the first week that my metabolism really starts picking up. And I can always tell when my metabolism is picking up because I start getting up like 4 or 5 times a night to pee. Like I'm just like pissing out body weight. It's wild. And I get in this mode where I can't fucking sleep. I get so amped up I can't sleep. I get really fidgety during the day. Even without the fat burners, it's really weird. And I don't know, my thyroid runs high normally. Like my thyroid levels will be high without taking anything. They just run high. They always have. I guess I'm lucky like that. That's probably why I was 175 pounds and 6'1" in college. But anyway, we dropped 3.5 pounds this week. You can see on the chart where it does the zigzag, the bounce up. When you see the bounce up, that is from my cheat meal and the high carb day. That is planned out. And you'll see as we get further into the diet, I'll do a larger view of it so you can see the trend. But it's always down 3, up 1, down 3, up 1, or down 2, up 1. That's just kind of how it goes. I did have a planned cheat meal this week. I went and had some Thai food. Had pepper beef with rice. Nothing crazy. I try to keep my cheat meals to meat and rice, meat and potatoes, maybe just a little more fat than what I would normally eat. So nothing insane. You see my blood pressure on here. It was up a tad from last week. It was 126/80. I don't like that bottom. 80 is like the high end of where I want the bottom number at. That is like my threshold for where I like to let it get to. Ideally, it should be down around 70. But you know, that's okay for now. The more studies that you see on blood pressure, the lower the better. I mean, you really, unless you're passing out, there really is no bottom end of blood pressure. So I try to push it down as low as possible to save kidney health and cardiovascular health. It seems keeping your blood pressure low is the single most important thing that you can do for your cardiovascular health and your kidney health too. The two things that seem to kill bodybuilders most frequently. So I was up a little bit, 126 over 80. I'm going to keep an eye on that. That is likely from the stimulants, adding in the stimulants, even though it was just over-the-counter stimulants. We'll keep an eye on that. Fasted glucose was 96, so it was down again. It keeps dropping. That abscess that I had on my leg ended up being a staph infection, actually. I ran the course of antibiotics. They cut it open and let it drain. It seems to be healed back up now. It healed up really quick. I was surprised how quick that cut healed up. So last week I had a bandage on my leg. You'll see it in my pictures from last week, but it's like completely gone. It was like a good 2-inch long cut they had, and it just sealed right back up. Maybe it's the growth hormone. I don't know. But anyway, that's healed up. So I'm down in the 250s now. That is fasted weight. Keep in mind, my daytime weight's probably still in the 260s, but I'm 258. I can see abs. I'm starting to get some lines in my legs, so I'm in a pretty good spot right now. I feel like Justin may have a different opinion, but I feel like I'm definitely ahead of where I was this time last year. So these are the pics this week. This is in the shitty light, so you can't really see, but you can see here. You can see my abs. I mean, it's not like I'm ripped or anything. I always carry my fat in my back. I don't know why. It's just the way I'm put together. I have fat on my lower back, my ass, my hamstrings. That's always where I carry my fat. I usually stay pretty lean up front. It's, my dad's the same way. It's just genetic thing, I guess. It's just how, but anyway, this is the shitty light. This is what I look like this week. It drives me nuts. My left leg is not symmetrical with my right leg. It atrophied. I had ACL surgery a couple years ago, and my left leg shrunk up dramatically after I had the ACL surgery, and it has just never caught back up. I've done unilateral movements for it. I don't know what else I can do. Anyway, I'm almost 50 years old, so fuck it. I guess it's as good as it's going to get for now. By the way, my shoulder's still fucked up. I am starting physical therapy for that. Doctor says I will need surgery at some point. Right now, it's weird. It actually feels okay right now, even though I know I have a torn labrum. Occasionally I'll get like a sharp twinge in there, but I've just been working around it. I've been staying away from free weights for shoulders. I've just been doing all machines and kind of lighter weights, like 12, 15, 20 reps on everything. Nothing crazy. So the diet, this is my new macros I just got from Justin. So low days, 130, really it's like 100 grams of carbs. The 10 grams that he has on those meals, those are essentially, that's just meat and vegetables. So really like in starchy carbs, I really only have about 100 grams of carbs on my low day right now, which is low for me. 51 grams of added fat. So total calories on the low day, which is 1 day a week for me. I only take 1 day a week off from lifting. So my one day is usually Thursdays, which was yesterday. That's my off day from training. So we're looking at total, 1700, like 2200 calories. So it's pretty low right now. My medium day, I am doing, right now 240, well, we'll say 220 grams because I don't count those two with the 10 grams of carbs because they're just vegetables really. So 220 grams of carbs, 310 grams of protein, 41 grams of added fat on those days. For my added fats, I've talked about it before, but I usually use nuts and olive oil, sometimes nut butter. Those are my added fats. For my high day, which is 1 day per week, which is, your refeed day, whatever the fuck you want to call it. We keep the fats as low as humanly possible, as close to zero as possible, and we push the carbs really high. I use insulin. Keep the protein a bit lower because insulin is protein sparing, so you don't need to eat a shit ton of protein when your carbs are really high and you're taking insulin. I'll do roughly 850 grams of carbs, something like, well, it says 4,400 calories, but I have a cheat meal at the end of that day right now. So it's probably closer to like 5,500 calories would be my guess on that day. We're pushing things right now. So, you saw the bounce on the weight after the high day. It was like pound. All right, let's see. Current supplements, super supplements. I'm holding at 750 milligrams of test per week, 600 milligrams of Primo. I have the 100 milligrams of NPP added in there. That is just for really for my shoulder. People ask me why do you have the NPP in there? I didn't think you used that on contest prep. It's purely just for my shoulder. It may be in my head. It may be a placebo effect, but I feel like it helps lube my shoulder up, and when my shoulder is killing me with this torn labrum, and makes it so I can work out. I am doing a 0.5 milligram of Arimidex every other day. I may bump that up here soon. I don't know. The Primo, in theory, should soak up some of the estrogen, but we'll see. It's sometimes when I get stuck on fat loss, I've noticed when I bump up the anti-estrogens, it kicks the fat loss up again. But right now I'm losing weight, so I'm not too worried about it. 6 units of GH every day. When I remember to do it, I break it up into 2 doses, so 3 units in the morning, 3 units at night. Half the time I forget to take it in the fucking morning, so I'm just peeing 6 units at night. I had guys that are asking me about the GH timing. Should I wait 2 hours after meal, an hour after meal? I just don't put that much thought into it. There probably is a marginal difference. People get so focused on the minutia, and they're missing the big picture with stuff. People are more worried about, the exact minute when they should take their GH, and they're not even counting their food that they're eating. So I don't know. I don't see the point in any of that bullshit. Taking 1,000 milligrams of metformin per day. I have metformin helps me with appetite suppression. I notice when I take metformin, my appetite stays more under control. Right now, I don't have a lot of hunger. I am like right when it's time for me to eat. I get a little hungry, but it's not like out of control. I'm not dreaming about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches like they were a supermodel right now. So I will get there at the end of the contest prep, but right now I'm not dreaming about food. That day will come. 1,000 milligrams of berberine per day, half of an X Forge for blood pressure. My doctor just gave me, after a lot of finagling and begging, I had to argue with my doctor about putting me on telmisartan. He didn't want to do it, and I tried to explain to him how it's more effective for androgen and I know valsartan is also a ARB, but I got into the detail about how I thought it was more effective and tried to explain to him, and I finally convinced him. I'm like, dude, it's one ARB for the other. Why do you give a fuck? Just put me on it. Anyway, I got it, so I may switch to that next week, and I may push the dosages up. As I mentioned, my blood pressure is up a little bit, probably from the stimulants. Human log on high days is needed. You can watch my insulin video if you want to know how I do the insulin. I also use Lantus every day. I'm probably going to back off the Lantus a bit more as we go. I pulled it back down to 20 units this week because my fasted glucose has dropped. I also added my coach Justin Harris. He launched his brand of supplements this week, and I added his supplements, and I'm trying his fat burners out, Go Pills. So right now for fat burners, I'm doing 25 milligrams of ephedrine 2 times a day. Is it ephedrine or ephedrine? I don't know. I hear people say it differently. I say ephedrine. And 1 Go Pill from First Detachment Nutrition 2 times per day. The Go Pill from the First Detachment has green tea extract in it. which, he talks about EGCG in it, which is an antioxidant that is found in green tea that has been shown to protect the brain cells from oxidative stress. It also can help with metabolism and fat burning. He has caffeine anhydrous. Anhydrous just means no water. It is essentially a concentrated caffeine. It's from what I understand, it's derived from the coffee bean. I think. I'm not exactly sure what type he's using in it, but I think it's usually derived from a coffee bean, and it's supposed to be more potent than regular caffeine. So 150 milligrams of caffeine anhydrous is probably like 200 milligrams from coffee or something to that effect. I don't know the exact breakdown on how it works out. He has theacrine, or theacrine, which is 62.5 milligrams. Theacrine is a naturally occurring chemical that is similar to caffeine. It's found in different types of tea and coffee. It is especially found in camellia. And it is supposed to be good for fatigue and also for athletic performance and fat loss. It is a CNS stimulant, similar to caffeine, but not quite the same thing. And then he has yohimbine HCl, not to be confused with yohimbe. It is an alpha-2 receptor antagonist. I'm not going to go into full detail about it, but the yohimbine HCl blocks the receptor, the alpha-2 receptor, which is found in fat cells and helps the fat burning process. So the cells are more likely to release fat when they are antagonized. Anyway, that's all I got on that part of it. My cycle plans right now, this is, I think I'm kind of likely going to stick to this plan, but this is my 16-week plan, what I have mapped out. Now keep in mind, this is subject to change based on how my body responds to things, but right now I think I'm on track. So one more week of what I'm doing right now with the test and primo, and then we'll start adding in some masteron, and then a couple weeks after that we'll add in the trend. Orals at the end. But anyway, I feel like I'm on track right now, so we'll see how this plays out. At some point there'll be some clenbuterol as well. I'm staying away from T3 this year if I can help it. T3 seems to just melt muscle on me. I don't. Like I mentioned, my thyroid runs high normally, so I don't think I need it. We'll see how things go. Current training split is push, legs, pull off. Rep scheme is 12 reps on compounds, 15 to 20 on isolation movements. My volume didn't change from last week. I'm not going to go into the volume, but I think I am going to push volume up a tad next week. And next week should be the peak of this. I run these cycles, these 4 to 5 week cycles of slowly accumulating volume. I feel pretty good right now, and I don't want that to be, I'm getting stronger. I don't want that to be fool's gold, though, because I want to be, last year I pushed too hard, and I feel like I accumulated too much fatigue towards the end of contest prep, and I just could not recover from it. My CNS was fried at the end of the contest prep, and I just went to shit. So I'm trying to hold back a little bit, which is hard for me. Some people don't push hard enough. Some people push too hard. I am the guy that pushes too hard. If you tell me 20 minutes of cardio, I'm going to do 25. If you tell me 100 grams of carbs, I'm going to do 80. I'm trying to do everything exact this year, and I'm trying to be more mindful with my training. I'm trying to be cognizant of that. The goal of training on contest prep is to not lose muscle. We're not trying to gain. So I don't know that going to failure is productive right now. Pushing my sets to the maximum recoverable volume makes a lot of sense. But I am going to push volume up a little bit next week. I have a scheduled back off, deload, whatever the fuck you want to call it, at 10 weeks, and then another one at 5 weeks out, to try to help wash off any accumulated stress from fatigue from the training to keep me fresh, keep my body healthy going into the end of contest prep. But I'm tempted to just keep pushing through because I feel really good, but I don't want to dig myself. The problem with fatigue is once you don't realize that you've dug yourself into a hole until it's too late. That's been my experience. And so that's why I never used to program deloads. But I do it now, after reading a lot of Mike Israel's work, and I tend to agree with him. And I tried to do it this last off season, which I think helped with my progress, is to program in deloads, because I'll just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing until the wheels fall off, and then it's too late, and then you spend a month, feeling like shit, and not, your training goes to shit. And when you could have just done a 1 week back off and kept your momentum going. So anyway, next week I'm going to push a little harder with the volume, take the volume up a bit. My weights have been progressing. I've actually been getting stronger on prep, which is weird to me. That almost never happens. I know it's probably an illusion and it will stop here soon, but I have been getting stronger. So volume up next week. I'll cut the sets in half the following week and then go back into another push. Cardio, we didn't change anything with the cardio. I'm just doing 20 minutes a hit 4 times a week. Pretty moderate amount of cardio for where I'm at right now. Posing, I do posing 4 times a week for 15 to 20 minutes. Right now I'm just running through my mandatories, all the relaxed poses, all the mandatory poses. Probably do a couple rounds of it, 2-3 rounds of it. And that's it. Justin said we're just, just talking to him, we're just going to try to push the fat loss, be ready early, so that way if I need to add calories back in at the end, we have some runway to do so. Shows June 11th. The staph infection is recovering. Training's going great. Really not much else to report. Anyway, guys, that's all I got this week. If you have questions, comments, put them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to answer each and every one of them. Like I said, if you want to get in contact with me, you can do so by emailing me at bigp3rd@gmail.com, or you can shoot me a DM on Instagram at Paul K. Barnett. Take care.